Good morning, aspirants. It's 7th of October today, and I welcome you all on today's series of What to Read in the Hindu newspaper. I'm 𝗗𝗶𝗆 𝗏𝗏, Senior Mentor at Prepp IAS. While going through the articles, we will not only see its relevance with regard to prelims and mains, but we'll also try interlink it with other GS papers as well. I am here to align your newspaper reading as a part of our GS syllabus by mapping several themes and several papers it falls on. So, सबसे पहला आर्टिकल जो आज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है टू रीड इज अबाउट इंश्योरिंग कंप्लायंस. नाउ इसमें थीम क्या इशू जो अराइज हुआ है इस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल में, दैट इज रिगार्डिंग फार्मा इंडस्ट्री के लैप्सेस. देयर हैज बीन एवरी नाउ एंड देन रिपोर्ट्स रिगार्डिंग जो लैप्सेस, समटाइम्स अ केमिकल इज बीइंग इंक्रीज्ड इन क्वांटिटी और देयर इज क्वालिटी चेक्स प्रॉपरली नहीं हुए. So we need to know about how the drug regulation standards can be maintained, and quality assurance हमको ensure करना पड़ेगा if we want to tap the market with regard to pharma altogether. So we have to have this idea of strengthening drug regulations in terms of export that we are doing. So this particular article will fall under GS paper 3 under the theme Science and Tech and Health Governance. From prelims perspective, this article deals about role of CDSO. इसका structure क्या है, role क्या है, afterwards scheduled drugs जो हैं अपने, for example schedule M drugs, cosmetic rules क्या क्या हैं, इनके बारे में we need to know. What are the global standards of drugs that we need to know. From mains perspective, we need to know about India's pharmaceutical regulation system. क्या lapses हैं उनमें, क्या loopholes हैं, जिसकी वजह से on a repeat mode every now and then कुछ ना कुछ lapse we are getting to know. What are the challenges in ensuring drug safety amid global export surge that we need. Reforms क्या क्या needed है. For example, stricter enforcement of certain rules and regulations, lab accreditations चाहिए, manpower reforms हमको चाहिए. Pharma is a sunrise sector, and we even have been said it's like medicine bowl of world. So we not only have to focus upon the quantity of medicine that we are producing, but also we have to ensure quality as well, right? So in this manner, this particular article is to be read and revised. A very particular chemical जो इस article में discuss किया गया है is about diethylene glycol. So it's a syrup, it's a syrup. इसका जब increased quantity है by the manufacturer, what all things and arenas could be impacted when we deal with exporting these sort of medicines. So this is how this particular article is to be read and revised. Moving on, the next important article that is worth our attention in today's paper talks about calling out the criticism of Indian judiciary. So every now and then we have been seeing कि judiciary में backlog cases, vacation के regarding criticism, and other criticism that has been talked about. But this particular article talks about the constraints the judiciary is facing right now. So this will fall under GS paper 2, Polity and Governance, wherein separation of power could be also themed while going through this particular article. Prelims के perspective से हमारे को article 32, article 226, we need to know judicial power क्या होती है, judicial independence as a part of basic structure है कि नहीं. Mains के angle से we need to know about role of judiciary in balancing growth and rights, judicial overreach versus legitimate review that is needed. We need to read about article 50 and separation of power in Indian context. All these things are to be read and revised while going through this particular article. Moving on, the next important article that is there in the paper and is of much importance is about Nobel Prize. So kept in check. This particular article, if we are mapping from the theme perspective, is majorly talking about Nobel Prize in Medicine has been announced for discovery of TREGs and FOXP3 gene regulation for immune balance. So while going through this particular article, as it will fall under GS paper 3, Science and Tech and Health, we need to know the basics of concepts such as what is active immunity, what is passive immunity, what are T cells, autoimmune, cytokines, novel discoveries and their applied importance. Does any Indian has ever got Nobel Prize in medicine or not? From mains perspective, we need to know the application of immunology in healthcare and innovations. We can even link it with India's biomedical research and vaccine development ecosystem that we have. So in this manner, the preventive and precision medicine ka concept can be taken into consideration while going through this particular article. Moving on, the next important article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention majorly talks about reforming passive euthanasia in India. Now, this is relevant for GS paper 2 governance, ethics, and also human rights. Key theme इसमें क्या discuss किया गया है? We need to simplify living will procedures and make end of life humane. So from prelims perspective, we need to know about Aruna Shahbag case of 2011, common cause judgment of 2018. We need to know about Article 21, that is right to life to hai, but it is with dignity also. For mains perspective, the same article is to be seen through the lens of we got to balance ethical, legal, and medical autonomy. Afterwards, bureaucratic hurdles in implementing living wills. Afterwards, comparative practices that is there in Netherlands and Canada. So how we can adopt the best practices from there and the improvement that is required in India's euthanasia case altogether. So in this manner, this particular article is to be read and revised. Moving on, the next important article that is there in the paper and that catches our attention talks about, can a third party be liable for marital disruption? Now, this is relevant with regard to GS paper 1 society, GS paper 2 Indian judiciary. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article primarily talks about alienation of affection, thought, and moral dimensions of personal relationships. From prelims perspective, that things I have highlighted with regard to case laws and also the angles that we can explore while going through this particular article is about concept of tort laws in India, role of Delhi High Court in recognizing new civil liabilities. For mains perspective, the same article could be seen through the evolving notions of privacy, consent, and marriage as a partnership of equals. Afterwards, intersection of personal liberty under Article 21 with social morality as well. So in this manner, this particular article is to be read, revised holistically, going through each an angle and comparing it with world practices versus India's case. The next important article and the last important article for today's paper is about nuclear bill that is in discussion and deliberation phase right now, but it holds a relevance with regard to our exam. So this is relevant with regard to GS paper 3, wherein energy security, science and tech, and economy, all these three papers can be mapped. The key theme that has been discussed in this particular article primarily talks about opening nuclear energy to private sector participation while maintaining safety and liability safeguards. So from prelims perspective, the arenas that we have to open up is about Atomic Energy Act of 1962, Nuclear Liability Act of 2010, institutions that deals with nuclear energy in form of AERB, NPCIL. From May's perspective, the arenas that we have to unfold is balancing strategic autonomy with private efficiency, challenges in nuclear liability and insurance, role of nuclear energy in India's clean energy transition. So in this manner, this particular article is to be holistically read and revised. Don't just read the article, try mapping it as a part of our GS syllabus where all these can be linked, join the dots, and not only read what has been there in the articles, but also try looking into peripheral areas associated with it. Till we meet for the next time, take care and goodbye.